Welcome to Fabric Monday. Today we'll talk about branch out best practice. Let's discover what is this, what is branch out, and what are the best practices in relation to this. Branch out. Branch out is related to source control. It's a new feature in Microsoft Fabric environment. You open the source control button, you find the branch out to new workspace. So this is a new feature, but in fact this is allowing us to easily implement an old practice in software development. What practice I'm talking about? Well, we're talking about workspaces linked to source control. One old practice in software development is that when a developer in a development team will build a new feature, the developer creates a branch from the main development branch. The developer implements the new feature in this branch, and then when the feature is completed, the developer makes a pull request joining the changes with the development branch. In this way, multiple developers in a team can be working in different features at the same time, and then merge these features back using a pull request to the development branch. But how this works in relation to Fabric? How this involves Fabric? Well, in Fabric, to easily implement new features, we need to have the branches linked to workspaces in Microsoft Fabric. So, if we manage this only from the DevOps point of view, this would not work. And if we need to manage both the DevOps point of view and the workspace, creating a new workspace, it would be too much work. So this new feature is perfect to solve this. By using the branch out to new workspace, Microsoft Fabric automatically creates a new branch in the source control for the development of a new feature, and creates a new workspace and links the workspace with this new branch. The developer can start working immediately. The developer can immediately start working on that new branch. A bit more about the branch out. It allows the use of the feature branches, a development technique for development teams. Improve the work of a development team, yes. Integrate branching with new workspace, yes. Both will work together. Unexpected results with data objects. Then we start talking about best practice in relation to branch out. If we branch out a branch in a workspace that contains data objects, we'll get unexpected results. This will not work very well. So it's better to branch out workspace and branches where you have only code objects, not data objects. Good practice: code and data objects are kept isolated in different workspaces, and then you can branch out the code easily without affecting the data objects. Let's understand what I'm talking about. Let's say that you have a data workspace. What I'm talking about a data workspace? I'm talking about a workspace that can contain a lakehouse, a data warehouse, a custom database, objects without source control support, and like this. These objects contain data, so the result, if you try to branch out this workspace, is not very good. So you can create a separate workspace that we can call as a code workspace, and this code workspace, the objects in this code workspace will access the objects in the data workspace. Which objects are we talking about? For example, notebooks and pipelines. I could include data flows, but we don't have full data flow support yet. And then from the code workspace we start to branch out. From the code workspace we branch out, creating feature A and feature B. So developer 1 is working on feature A, developer 2 is working on feature B. It's interesting that we are talking about two different workspaces, two different areas of implementation that have completely different content. In this case, this means that we have different repositories for them. A repository A for the data workspace and repository B for the code workspace. And still, we can implement deployment pipelines on these workspaces, creating the development, the test, and the production environment on these workspaces. Then, when the developer of FeatureRay finishes his implementation, he makes a pull request back to the code workspace, merging his work with the code workspace. The new implementation is there, and then the workspace and the branch FeatureRay can be dropped. The feature B, the developer had not finished the implementation, so when the developer finishes the implementation, he needs to make a merge from the code workspace to the feature B workspace. So a merge is needed in this situation. After the merge, the feature B will be updated in relation to the code workspace, and the developer will be capable to make a pull request. So the developer makes a pull request to update the code workspace and also drop the branch and the workspace for feature B. In this way, we can use the technique of feature branches to make the development. Let's see how this works. Here I have a workspace. In this workspace, I have a lakehouse demo lake. This can be considered my data workspace, and I have another workspace called coding dev. This is considered my code workspace. So I have my data workspace and I have my code workspace. In my code workspace, I have a notebook already developed. This code workspace is linked to GitHub, to a branch called development in GitHub. Here we can see DevOps, we can see the repository branch out and the branch development, which is linked to my code workspace. Now let's start an example of the branch out feature. Exactly like I demonstrated in the PowerPoint, let's make a branch out. Branch out to new workspace. It asks a branch name and a workspace name. I'll call it feature A. Feature A. Branch out. That's it. The branch out process is completed. It took some moments to complete the process. It created a workspace called FeatureRay, but not only the workspace. It also created a branch in my source control environment. So I have now a branch called FeatureRay. This branch was not here before. So I have this branch called FeatureRay. Let's get back to our code workspace, coding dev. I'll make a second branch out. Branch out, feature B, development, and feature B workspace. One more time, here is the branch out, the feature B. And in DevOps, I have a new branch. I will need to refresh, and I have a new branch called feature B. Now let's start making changes on feature A. Here I have the notebook test code on FeatureRay. It's reading a table, orders, and displaying the data frame. Let's start making some changes here. So in this notebook, I will add a new code cell, and I will include some new statements to filter this data frame and display the filtered result. Let's execute. Let's check the result. It's completing the filter, and there it is. We have the filtered result according to the product ID. This is the result implemented in feature A. Feature A is making this implementation. Now let's say that feature A finished the implementation. What should we do? We should commit to source control. Filtered data frame. So I commit this to source control, and I'm committing this to the branch feature A. We can check here at the lower status bar that we are linked to the feature A branch. Then I can go to the DevOps environment, pull request, and it's advising that I just completed an update on feature A. So I can create a pull request to send my updates from feature A to the development environment. The development environment is where I started the branch out, so I send my updates to the development environment. Create the pull request and complete. I should not delete feature A branch after merging. Why? Shouldn't we delete the branch? Yes, but we should delete the workspace first. So, make the pull request, complete the pull request, and after that you start deleting the resources. That's it. This pull request is completed, so I can get back to Power BI. Let's take a look on our coding dev workspace. And the coding dev workspace will tell that we have updates coming from source control to the workspace. Okay, you can update the resources in my workspace. Now if I take a look on the notebook, I will see the changes implemented inside the feature A. That is it. I confirmed that the changes are done. I merged to the development branch. Now I can delete the feature A. The feature A can be deleted. How do I delete? First, let's delete the workspace. Remove this workspace. Workspace removed. And now I remove the branch. The branch feature A is not needed anymore. So I delete the branch, because what was implemented is already merged to the development. But I still have the feature B. The feature B was not implemented yet. Let's take a look. Feature B. Let me open the notebook. Is the original code from the moment that I made the branch out to the feature B. Let's make an implementation here. I will add another cell in the middle between these cells and copy the code of a new implementation. Make a new and different filter to my data frame. Let's execute everything. Run. And there it is. The result is filtered with a different filter, and the developer working on feature B implemented this different feature without knowing details about the feature A. Two different features implemented in parallel. I will continue with the same flow. I need to commit my changes to the source control. Feature B implementation. Commit. After committing to source control, I'll go to branches, pull requests. It tells me feature B was just updated. Let's create a pull request from feature B to development. This is the branch from where I created feature B. Let's create the pull request, and it's advising me that there is no merge conflict. Although the two developers worked in parallel, it was possible to merge without merge conflict. When a merge conflict happens, you have a more complex scenario where you need to get the changes from the development branch to the feature B and then make the pull request. It's a bit more complex, but it's also part of the process. Then let's complete exactly like we did before. It's done. Let's get back to the coding dev. Now in coding dev, it's telling me again that I need to make an update from source control. Let's make the update from source control. That's it. Let's take a look on the notebook. And now the notebook has both implementations. An implementation made by one developer, the feature A developer, and an implementation made by another developer, the feature B developer. In this way, we use the branch out to allow two developers to make the development in parallel. Thank you very much for watching and see you next week.